But also, I'm going to take you guys to the Facebook
repeat all
page.
that, Dave.
Dave, take it from the top. No, I'm just playing. But we have the information here. This is on the Facebook page, guys, and under the images that we've shared, and it's got the information here with the phone number for EverQuote and some of that information that Dave shared. So you could go to the Facebook page or screenshot it now while it's up on the screen for the next couple minutes, next couple seconds, and be able to reach out to them if you're looking for a new lead source. So, you know, to Dave's point, FFL is putting out so much when it comes to leads. There's a lot that you got to pay attention to right now. I mean, we've got the virtual platform, virtual training coming out. You know, if you go to YouTube, type in Family First Life virtual sales, there's a ton of training, a complete platform. And then there's been just a ton of lead discounts. I know, for example, the lead discount with EverQuote, Bang Bang Leads has a FFL lead discounts. The Internet Life Leads has a lead discount. So there's plenty of options. And so if you ever have questions, make sure you're reaching out to your mentor, manager, whomever, to ask, okay, hey, what's your recommendation? What ones are you using? What do you think about this one? Because at the end of the day, you know, this is the resources or the raw materials of your business leads for you to be able to reach out and call. And with these, I'm going to go ahead and try these, what do you call them? Life transfer leads that you're talking about, Dave, because I want to start working on the virtual sales. Everything I'm doing is still in person, but I'm ready to start, you know, some of those virtual sales. Have you sold some of those virtually, Dave, or are you still booking them and going out?
No, my program just went live this morning. Literally, I already capped out. Like within the first 2 hours, I already had my limit for today.
Okay.
So and they haven't had any calls in yet. So it just varies. But one thing I did forget to mention in our WhatsApp chat, I did put my referral code, because you can see why I put my referral code. I'm just planting that seed out there for y'all to click on that, because if you look in the middle of what Jermaine has up there, it doesn't say it's a $25 referral, does it? No, it says 250. So spread the love, guys.
Awesome, good stuff. So yeah, well, and this is the information here, guys, for EverQuote. If you have any questions, just reach out to us. And then the other lead vendor. So this is you know, internet leads and life transfer leads, right? Now, if you're looking for mail leads, I'm going to scroll down here and talk to you about another vendor before we jump to this quick interview with Colton. And great job with posting the pictures with your clients, guys. This is pretty cool to scroll through and see everybody sharing pictures with their clients. And where is it? Here it is. So this is a mortgage protection lead vendor that does mail leads, right? Now, the difference between internet leads and mail leads is something's mailed to the client, they go to the mailbox, they fill it out. It's a higher intent and a higher conversion ratio. Internet leads, you know, they're clicking around online. And so the quality is different than the quality on the mail leads. I use a mixture of mail leads and internet leads, and a lot of our producers do, like myself, like Gio. And so what you'll see here with Midlantic is that they'll mail out to your individual county, and it's just a per piece pricing. So if you want first class delivery or standard delivery, you see the price in here. And if you want final expense, you see the price in here. And then when you look at as far as trying to find which, where do I have it with the counties that's available? Hold on one second. I think it signed me out. I want to show you some of the available counties. And type 1 second. Switch over to this portal. Okay, so you should be able to see my screen now. I'm just going to go with Alabama, so don't take up too much time. But for example, they have a list of available counties, okay, that you know, are open for you to be able to lock out. And when you lock it out, you're the only one that gets the leads in that county. So they just mail out to that county, and everything that comes back comes to you. So for example, if you're in Alabama, and you want Baldwin County, there's 255 pieces of data is what it's called. And so they would mail out 255 postcards to the clients talking about mortgage protection. The return rate on that is about 10%. So about, 2.5, call it 3, just for even numbers, is what you would get back from them mailing that out. And it's 69 cents per piece. So you could kind of put a couple counties together. And this is another way for you to be able to get access to brand new mortgage protection leads if you want to incorporate that into what you're, into your lead strategy right now. So just wanted to share that with you. That's Mid-Atlantic. And there's actually a new contact. We'll repost this. There's a new email contact for the company instead of Heather. And her name is Becky, and we'll post her contact information in here. But these are just 2 of many lead options that I wanted to highlight for you guys. So that way, there's plenty of lead options in addition to the CRM leads. And that video that I was referencing that we recorded 2 weeks ago in Palm Beach talks about the different lead categories. Your CRM leads is kind of level 1. Level 2 is like your internet leads. There's a couple different vendors there. And then, level 3, internet leads, including EverQuote. And then level 3 is the mortgage protection leads. You pay a little bit more for those per lead, but also they have a higher conversion ratio. So it's just about what kind of lead game plan you want to put in place. All right. I'll jump to the next section here, which is an interview with Colton and Victoria. Colton, are you on? I see your name there. I don't know if you could hear me.
What's going on, guys?
Hey, what's going on, man?
Yeah.
What's going on? I love the tattoos, man. I wish I had some tattoos, man. Victoria, where's your tattoos? Tattoos from here. So, but hey, guys, I know we wanted to have this interview about 2 weeks ago, and I'm glad we're finally able to have this interview. I'm really excited to talk with you guys. With what you guys have come out the gate doing so far in your businesses, and have you share a little bit because I love your work ethic. I love your thought process. And so let's start it off like this. If you can just give everybody a little bit of y'all's background. I know you've been in insurance, for a couple of years and just came to Family First Life. So give them a little bit about your background and then how you found us here at Family First Life.
Okay. So my name's Victoria, and I actually am just recently licensed within the last 2.5 months or so.
Awesome.
So I'm still learning. Before this, I was a legal specialist for a lawyer down in Cleveland, up in Cleveland. So yeah, right now everything is still a learning process. I kind of just woke up one day and was tired of making somebody else rich. So
Awesome.
That's where I'm at. But yeah.
All right, cool. Colton.
Yeah, so for me, actually started in insurance back in 2015. I was in the military for 5 years, and when I got back from basic training, I had zero idea about insurance. I had no idea what it was. Like, I just knew it was between the life insurance industry and health insurance, but I just looked at health insurance as something that's so regulated by the government. I just, I had no idea where it would be in 5 years, so yeah. I went to life insurance route. And started my own agency back in 2015, and I was only 18 at the time. And basically, I started off doing in-person, face-to-face, and again, I was only cold calling. I wasn't buying leads. I wasn't doing anything. I was just buying data lists off this company called Lead Concepts, and just dialing like 500 people a day and getting 3 appointments max.
Wow.
and driving out because I didn't know. My brother was in the insurance industry, so he would, I would ask him questions and he would help me, but I didn't have a mentor per se. So over time transitioned into telesales, and I've used EverQuote for a long time. I can actually wanted to touch on it at the end of this if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, so now probably about 8 months ago or so, the IMO that we were with previously, the IMO that I was with previously, that was the first IMO I'd ever been with, since for the past 6 years. So you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
So what they offered to me, I thought was just everybody got that, and then I ended up seeing Gio on like getting interviewed on TikTok, and like all these people getting interviewed on TikTok, and I'm like, what's this FFL thing I keep hearing about? So one thing led to another. I ended up talking to Gabe, and I said, hey, what, are you guys like an IMO? Like, what's the situation? And then, long story short, talked to you on the phone, talked to Gio or Gabe on the phone, and then that's kind of how we made the initial switch from our previous IMO. But we were in Cleveland at the time,
Yeah.
and we moved here and switched to IMOs at the same time, so it was pretty cool. But
Yeah. And I love the fact that you had that experience of working so hard just to get 3 appointments, because now you that kind of prepared you for what you do here, but to have better results because you're already programmed to work hard from that experience, right?
yeah,
And I know, so you guys run business together. Do both of you dial? One of you dial? How do you have that set up?
yeah, we both dial. We just, everything that normally one person would do, we both do it just together. So we fill our schedules, and we're getting to the point now. We had a lot of scheduling or contracting issues, like our old IMO. Like, I'm not going to say their name. I don't want to ever talk bad about a company, but it was just god awful to get released from. It was just such a hassle. We had thousands of dollars in commission being held up, like just such a pain.
Yeah.
But yeah, we both do everything. Just
Right
like
now, we're running everything together side by side. Eventually, we probably will, go our separate ways. But honestly, it's really time efficient in the home. Like, we're getting out within 30 minutes sometimes.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
it is efficient.
And our strengths and weaknesses are bouncing off. Like,
Yeah.
if I ever felt a little bit uncomfortable and I'm like, okay, like I'm, not really sure how to route this, we kind of pick up and pass the torch back and forth,
Right.
which is a cool dynamic to see,
Yeah,
That's
especially
awesome.
sitting down with couples as well. Like, I don't know, it resonates with them a little bit.
it's kind of awkward because sometimes they could just, because we've been together for so long, they'll ask if we're together.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, the first time we said no. Like,
And then they're like, well, why both you here at the same time?
We never were like, should we tell people? We didn't think anyone was going to ask us
yeah,
that.
both got caught off guard and we're like, no, we're not together. And like, when we got in the car afterwards, we sold it. Why do we?
That's funny. That's hilarious. So talk to me a little bit about what you're doing for leads. So what kind of leads are you using here now? And how you what has been your experience with dialing those? Anything that you think might be beneficial this year?
So yeah, I'm telling you, 100 times out of 100, FFL's instant internet leads are just blowing everything out of the park. They're the best leads. They know. I mean, Gio, I have to. Everyone's helped us, but I got to shout out to Gio. He's helped us. Like, I'm like, why are you helping us so much? Like, he's just such a good dude. So shout out to Gio. He's really helped us a lot. But instant internet leads is all we do. Like, we in a little bit we did internet leads through FFL, and then we also did mortgage protection, and we did age mortgage leads as well. But just doing this for so many years, the instant internet leads, the conversations I'm having with them on the phone, they know exactly why we're calling. It's just bananas. Like, that's the one thing with internet leads is when you're buying an exclusive internet lead, it's only exclusive to the company you're buying it from.
Yeah.
So you can buy an exclusive lead that's been called 15 times. That's what people have to understand too. An exclusive lead is only exclusive to the company that sells it. So like the LCS program, I'm not trying to like touch on toes, but the LCS isn't a live transfer service. The EverQuote has a specific live transfer lead, and they have a knockout question. So when you buy a true live transfer lead from EverQuote, you don't get charged until after you've talked to them on the phone for 2 minutes or longer.
Okay.
The LCS program isn't designed to be. That was one of the issues, because we did LCS because a lot of telesales for a long time, and we pulled out of the LCS program because similar. I don't remember who was talking, but similar to what he mentioned, we would go 3 weeks with no live transfers. So eventually, I'm not, EverQuote's amazing, but just so people can know what really was going on. Yeah. LCS is designed, and I've talked to many of the guys there for a long time. LCS is designed to get rid of the people who were just going to waste your time anyways. because the call center people at EverQuote aren't calling to say, they're giving zero objections. They're just calling, and if they're available, they'll transfer them. And the transfer is a bonus. So you can get a transfer, but just so it's understood that it's not a live transfer service, they have that is separate from that. But we spent, thousands and thousands of dollars with EverQuote. And for telesales, it's the way to go, definitely. Yeah. Virtual sales, EverQuote internet leads are 10 times out of 10, they're awesome. But I've used a lot of lead vendors in the past, and I'm telling you, the FFL instant internet leads are hands down the best.
Awesome.
Especially in Miami-Dade County.
Nice. And that's the thing too, Gio was telling me, it's like you guys are buying leads in Miami-Dade County. So which one of you speak Spanish again?
None of us.
So what was the logic behind that? Because I know me, I'm thinking, Miami-Dade, man, there's going to be a lot of Spanish speaking people. I'm not going to pick that county, but you jumped in. So what were you thinking there?
It's really, the percentage of people that answer the phone that are Spanish is really not as scary as people think. Most people that speak Spanish have a little bit of English in there too. So, if they're interested, they'll tell you, like maybe send me somebody who speaks Spanish, or they'll say, as much English as they know, and it still works out for us. The percentage of leads that are Spanish, it's got to be under 30%.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And the thing is, with Miami-Dade, regardless of whatever excuse you can come up with, there's opportunity there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you're not calling them, you're just wasting money. Gio says you can either make money, or you can make excuses, but you can't make both.
That's awesome. That is the truth. And so because we have a lot of new agents, and like we went through that lead guideline. Level 1 is the instant internet life leads. Yeah. So from an expectation standpoint, what kind of expectations, if somebody buys 100 of these internet life leads, what kind of expectations should they have as far as the work they have to put in, and then the result that they would get, just from your experience being brand new? And I think, by the way, just to kind of preface y'all's experience, I think it's been over 10 or 15,000 that you've written in business in the short time that you've been here. Is that about right?
We did 10,000 our first week off of 100 leads. 100
there you go. So yeah, so you have some experience. So what should that expectation be as far as the amount of work that you need to put in for 100 leads, and what kind of results as far as number of appointments, for example?
I would say, to also just to hit really quick on EverQuote. So you can space out your leads, your time. So you can do 5 minutes. And I know that the gentleman mentioned, David mentioned by, I think, the first 2 hours he hit his expiration or whatever. You can space them out throughout the day, like a 10-minute intervals or 5-minute intervals or 30 seconds. So we're doing 64 leads a day through EverQuote.
And we get them all by 1 o'clock.
Yeah, by
Monday and Thursday.
Because with these ones, we stopped doing telesales. We do all face-to-face. Mm-hmm. So we're getting about 64 leads through them a day, in addition to the instant internet leads. So I would say, just based off of pure numbers, for every 100, if you're following the system, and that's the biggest thing, man, like following the system and listening to what people tell you, like Gio has been like one of our biggest helps. Like the stuff that he told us, I didn't just listen to and say, oh, sounds good. We listened to it, we recorded it, and we applied it.
Yeah.
So probably about 100 leads and 30 appointments, I believe. And that was within a week's time span. So, the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday.
Yeah, so
Friday, Saturday. So that's where we made our sales, is for that 1 week. Probably about 33 appointments set. And then we ended up going to about, I think it was 10 or 11 sales out of that week.
We had the one issue that so for every 100 leads we buy, you could, if you're working it, you can at least expect a $10,000 return, if not more. And obviously that can go up or down depending on whatever. But I would say, honestly, it sounds crazy, but if you're spending $3,000 a week, you can make 15 grand a week, if not more.
Yeah, you don't even need that much.
Yeah,
you don't need that much money at all. You spend that a month, and But for me, I'll touch on it. So I worked before this, a desk job. I worked for a lawyer, so it was nothing like this. I came home and got a paycheck no matter what. He's used to this world. So for me, it is nice having somebody to tell me and reassure me that, you know, it's going to come, it's going to work, you're going to learn how to do all this. It's okay. It's just hard work. I mean, it really truly is. Like, if I don't pick up the phone and dial, there's no paycheck coming in on a Friday. So like that right there is motivation in itself. And as soon as I started to see the return, it's like, why would I ever do anything else? You know, like hard work is not that hard once you start to see the return. It's really not.
Yeah. And I always think too, with the leads, it's all about leads, man. If you have no leads, you have no business. Like, I don't care what anybody says, you got to get leads and you got to get referrals from those leads. But it's really just a system, and we're finding out that the more that you listen to what everybody else is saying, one of the things that we learned was it's not even that it's hard work, it's just intentional work. Like, just
I like that.
dial people, set the appointment, and go out and see them. You're going to get doors shut in your face. You're going to get people telling you to leave. You're going to get people saying, this is a waste of my time, get the F out of my house. But once you know that's going to happen, you're going to get the yeses. You're going to walk out with $5,000 in a house. You're going to get these things. It's just intentional work, and it'll come.
Yeah, 100%. I like that. Intentional work. And how are you guys with resolving leads? I know you do a lot of dialing. Are you door knocking as well to be able to resolve the leads, or kind of how do you make sure you get the most out of them? How many times are you calling? Do you text messages? Do you leave voice messages? Those type of things.
Yeah, so we have not yet done any door knockings.
Okay.
I mean, we thought about it, you know, in between no shows and all of that, but I'm sure that we will. Most of the time we'll, you know, call a lead 2-3 times and then won't call them until next dial day. And then we'll do that for about 2 weeks and then leave them alone for like 2 weeks and then go back. And that's usually something that we've been
the best way to put
finding, just giving them a little bit of time to either go with somebody else if they're not answering our phone call, or you know, no one's answering their phone when they fill out a lead because they're getting too many. So then a month later, they're like, oh yeah, I never actually got insurance. So it actually ends up working out, leaving them alone just after you called them 13 times.
Yeah, the best way to put it is, we do not stop calling leads until either they answer or they tell us never call this phone number again. If you didn't get one of those two answers, it's still a good lead. Like, that's how I look at it. If you're not utilizing the life, and that's a big thing with EverQuote. They have one of their conventions coming up in Colorado. We were going to go to it, but we want to just crush it this month. So we're not going to. But the biggest thing that, even with internet leads especially, is so many people will call it twice and then they'll never call it again. And it's like, you're just leaving. If you're buying these leads, you're paying money for these leads. Dial it until they tell you never call my phone number again, or you get the appointment set, or they tell you they're not interested or whatever. But, you know, utilize the lead to its fullest extent and just call it until you can't call it anymore. That's the biggest thing. Just don't stop calling.
No, 100%. And I love the mindset. And you guys seem to have that innately. Did you do something to develop that, or is that just over experience, or where does that come from?
I think part of it, I think some people are born with, you know, not born with it, but just can see things differently. But the biggest thing is, I think, being able to step away and being able to identify what you're doing wrong, and looking at somebody, whether they're above you or below you, and being able to look at somebody and learn from them. I think just being transparent and aware, I think that's probably the biggest thing. Is like, you either do it or you don't. There's no in between.
For me, I thought that, you know, the only way to go out there and make it in the world was to go to school, get your degree, get a job. You know, that's what I genuinely thought was the right thing to do. And as soon as I did all of that, I was like, no, this cannot be the only way. And so I just knew that I had to teach myself if that's what I want to do. I mean, I'm sure everyone has heard Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Yeah.
I highly, highly recommend that for everybody. But that right there is kind of, I think, where we got it. No one's going to give you it unless you go get it yourself.
And this is the big thing too. I'm not sure if you guys can see this.
Yeah, dream. I see it.
If you can't dream it, you can't believe it. You can't see it. I feel like whatever it's just crazy, man. Like, coming to FFL and seeing how big the IMO is and how many people are just following a proven system. That's really all it is.
Yeah, absolutely. And I like that perspective that you have, because it's easy to get frustrated sometimes when you're working, but you guys touched on a few things like, hey, you have that expectations. You're going to get the door slammed in your face. You're going to get people that say, hey, get out of my house, don't knock on my door, or whatever the case may be. But you're also going to get the ones that are going to say, yep, come on in, help me out, to the tune of $10,000 in a week, right? And if you put in that effort and activity, and that, once you have that belief, and you got some dreams and goals you're trying to accomplish, you could get around those obstacles, or those folks that might say, hey, don't call me again, or whatever the case may be. So
absolutely. I definitely think that patience is a virtue, and patience is you absolutely have to have patience and understand, what's going to come at you and what's going to be thrown at you, and it's your job to make sure you can handle that if you're going to do this job. And if you can, then it's for you.
Yeah.
And
no, that's the truth.
the one secret that we have that works 10 times out of 10 is the first thing we do in the morning on the way to our appointments is we pray together in the car.
That's awesome.
The first thing. We don't talk. We just say, let's go out. And she normally will do it because I'm driving, but that's just an excuse. But we pray every single.
Well, you're not driving with your eyes closed praying, no?
That's how we start off every single day, but especially
on the way home.
Yeah, on the way home, like every door knock, and sometimes, especially when you get frustrated after someone no-shows you, it's like, hey, this is how it's supposed to be. But every day before we go to our very first appointment, we pray to protect people, get financially compensated for it, and just do the best we can.
Yeah. That's awesome. Awesome, man. I love it. I see nothing but success for you guys growing up in this business and continuing to grow your business. So let me ask you this, and we'll finish with this, and then I'll open up for some questions on any topic that anybody might have questions on for about 5 minutes or so. But new agents that are coming in, you're still new, but you've been here for a little while now, got some swings under your belt, so to speak. But what advice would you give to the newest agent? I want to be able to hear from each of you. So we'll go with ladies first. Victoria, what advice would you be giving to a new agent to help them get out the gate with success?
I think number one would to be patience. As long as you have all of your ducks in a row and you go out there with confidence and patience, this is going to work out for you. For me, the biggest thing and the biggest issue that I had was I was just so anxious to see where I could get with this. I was so anxious, all this hard work that I was doing, all this, foreign language is what it felt like, learning about insurance. And it really did. And I just wanted to see what was going to come from that. And I just needed to be patient, because if you can make it through that first month, week of hardship, of confusion, of not knowing what you're talking about, then you will get through the rest of it and you will be successful.
Perfect. Colton, how about you?
It kind of boils down to two. The first thing, this isn't rocket science. It's been done. There's a proven system. Just follow it. Don't try to recreate the wheel. I mean, add your own spice to it and always be looking to be innovative, but don't try to recreate the wheel. It sounds funny, but do what you're told. There's a system and follow it. That's the first thing, because if you follow the system, even if you don't know anything about anything, you're going to run into success if you're following a system. And the second thing is, you have to work like a mad dog. If you are willing to work and just put in the time intentionally and follow the system, you'll be a millionaire retired by 35.
Yeah. And I'll say one more thing is everyone says being a business owner is an awesome thing because you get to make your own schedule and do all these things. And you will eventually we will be making our own schedule, and right now we can if we want to, but don't look at it like that for, at least the first year. Do not look at it like, oh, I'm doing this so I could be, not working on Saturday night. No, you are going to be working on Saturday night. Yeah. So don't look at it like that for a good amount of time before you start to get some return.
Yeah. And if you don't work on Saturday night, that's fine, but don't be surprised when you don't make it successfully.
Right.
Yeah. No, that's so true. Man, we definitely want to have you guys on. We're probably going to have you come up to Atlanta and do a podcast here. Gio's clapping in the background, because the mindset is everything, right? My daughter, she's 13. She has a t-shirt that says mindset is everything.
Yeah,
and
awesome.
and because it's so true, man. It's what you believe and how you perceive something. That's exactly what it is, right? And your perception and your belief dictate your actions. And when you put in the right actions, you get the right results. And that's exactly what you guys are doing right there. So I appreciate you guys hopping on and sharing. We're definitely going to have you share more. This is phenomenal. Yep, great info and encouragement, Liz says. So what I want to do is I want to open up for about 5 minutes of question, so we could wrap this one up. So anybody that has questions on anything, whether it's what Colton and Victoria talked about, or it's about the leads or virtual sales, whatever it may be, anything that we could do to help you move your business forward, feel free to unmute, and we'll just take about 5 minutes of questions. Don't all start at once. Natalie says, thank you, very informative. Good job, Colton, Victoria.
One last thing, that one of my old mentors, who is Romanian, he reminds me so much of Gio. I've said it so many times, but he told me coffee is for closers.
That's good stuff. All right, anybody with any questions? Edwin says, I need help with in-home structure. Okay, Edwin, you're down in South Florida, right? You got to get into the office, man, and get some help. But if not, you and I could touch base later on to kind of go in detail. But for in-home, one of the things that I'll say to that point, in-home training. Matter of fact, Colton, how'd you learn the in-home process? What did you do to learn the in-home process?
The initial, when I very first started, or are you talking about now, like my transition recently?
I just overall, yeah, when you got started and kind of how you made that transition with FFL.
When I first started, I literally, it's gonna sound dumb, but I didn't know what I was doing. I just went, and I failed so many times, like just saying the wrong things so many times, and just I'm like, I just learned by failing, like it sounds so cliche, but I would go into people's houses and they would ask me questions, and half the time, this is me being so honest, like 5-6 years ago, I had no idea what the answer was. So I'm just as confused as they are, and I just kept learning and learning and learning, and eventually, after so much time of doing something, I'm not saying I'm just expert insurance guy, but after so many times of doing things, you realize, like, wow, I'm a licensed professional, I'm an expert in this field. And it just got over time, and then transitioning to FFL it definitely changed. And literally talking to Gio, like I keep talking about Gio, but I called Gio, he ran through his in-home with me over the phone, and I recorded it on my computer, and we listened to it every day on the way to our appointments. I mean, like even down to putting the 2 fingers on the table, like everything that he said to do, and it worked. Like literally that week we went out and we wrote like 10,000 plus our first week. So we just listened, and when people gave us advice, we break it down and then we apply it to our business.
Makes sense. Makes sense. So Edwin, you heard that? You got to go listen to Gio's in-home. But yeah, I learned
I'm not the magic. I'm not the magic.
No, there's plenty of and the point there is there's a ton of in-home training out there on for FFL, even on our YouTube page, and then Family First Life corporate YouTube page. So watch as much as that, but then you got to apply it. You, like Colton said, you got to get out there and do it, and you're going to make mistakes. I think one of the things we have is that fear of failure. It's like, man, I want to get it right before I try it because I don't want to fail. But you get it right by failing and then doing it better as you fail. This business has a way of teaching you through failure how to become better. And I think that's life, right? Like when I was learning to ride my bike, as I fell off, I realized, okay, I need to keep the handle straight next time. And just by default, swimming, when I taught my kids how to swim, it's like, hey, get in the pool and let's kick your legs. So you gotta try it. So to be able to learn it, and then you got a lot of videos too that you can watch. So all right, one last question and then we'll wrap it up. Anybody else? See if somebody wants to steal that last question. Nope. Going once. Going twice. All right, awesome, guys. So super excited for the success that everyone is having individually, that we're having collectively as an agency. If there's anything we can do to support you, any feedback, the door is always open. All of you should have my number. If not, I'm gonna put it in the chat right now. It's open door policy here. There's no dumb questions. We're here to help you win, and winning is going to go through failure. I just want to add that to it. So just be prepared to, hey, go out, take some activity, put some activity behind, what you're trying to accomplish, and then we'll help you feel the success and win with FFL. So there's my number. If you have any questions, reach out. Let's make it our best week ever. We're halfway through the week. Let's finish the week strong. And if there's anything we can do, reach out to us anytime. Thanks again, Colton, Victoria, Dave, and thank you all for being on the call. Have a great day.